Have you ever wondered what it truly means to live a fulfilling life beyond 70? Imagine shedding the unnecessary burdens that weigh you down and embracing a lighter, more joyful existence. In this video, we'll explore 9 transformative aspects of life that you can release to experience greater peace, clarity, and happiness. From letting go of others' opinions to prioritizing your happiness, each step is designed to help you live authentically and intentionally. Stay with us until the end to discover practical insights and actionable tips that can help you redefine your journey and embrace the freedom to live joyfully in your golden years. If you're not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now let's begin. 1. Letting go of the weight of others' opinions. Throughout our lives, the weight of others' opinions can feel like a crushing burden, suffocating our sense of self and dimming our inner light. From the moment we're born, we're taught to seek approval and to fit into the boxes others have created for us. Whether it's the relentless expectations of family, the critical judgment of friends, or even the silent but ever-present gaze of society, we spend years trying to mold ourselves into someone else's ideal good. We strive to be the perfect son or daughter, the ever-reliable friend, the shining star of success in our careers. But what if we took a step back and asked ourselves, why am I carrying this weight? What if I simply stopped caring about what others think? By the time we reach 70, we've lived through enough triumphs and hard losses to understand one profound truth. No one else's opinion can ever define our worth. We've been through so much and weathered so many storms that we begin to realize the futility of constantly seeking approval. It's in this season of life that we can finally look back and see how much energy we've wasted worrying about the judgments of others. It becomes painfully clear just how many moments of joy we've sacrificed to the fear of being criticized. Think back to all the times you held yourself back because you were afraid of what someone else might say. How many dreams have been buried under the pressure to conform? How many moments of laughter and love have slipped through your fingers because you were too worried about being judged? It's heartbreaking, isn't it? But here's the beauty of growing older. With age comes clarity. We start to see things for what they truly are. People will always have opinions, but those opinions are just noise. They don't define us unless we let them. Can you imagine the pure, unfiltered freedom that comes from no longer giving a second thought to whether others approve of your choices, your lifestyle, or even your appearance? Imagine waking up each day knowing that your decisions are your own, made from a place of deep authenticity, rather than from a need to please someone else. How would your life change if you fully embrace that freedom? What would you do differently? The truth is, letting go of this burden is like shedding a layer of chains that bound us for far too long. It's an emotional liberation, a rebirth of sorts. When we stop caring about others' opinions, we reclaim our power, our voice, and our true selves. We're no longer puppets dancing on the strings of someone else's expectations. Instead, we stand tall, fully in control of our destiny. This journey of letting go is deeply personal, but it's also universal. I'm sure many of you reading this have felt the same weight at some point in your lives. How has letting go of others' opinions transformed your life? Did it feel like a breath of fresh air, like the world suddenly opened up in a way it never had before? I encourage you to share your stories in the comments below, because your experience might just be the spark that helps someone else break free from the chains of judgment. If you're still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Releasing the need for approval isn't just an act of defiance. It's an act of self-love. It's choosing yourself over and over again in a world that constantly tries to tell you that you're not enough. The weight of others' opinions is heavy, but the freedom that comes from letting go is light, empowering, and most importantly, yours for the taking. Let's continue this conversation and celebrate the beauty of living authentically, free from the crushing burden of others' expectations. 2. Releasing the burden of material possessions. As the years pass, one of the most profound lessons we learn is that true happiness is not found in things. Yet, for much of our lives, we are caught up in a cycle of accumulating more clothes, more gadgets, more furniture, more of everything. We fill our homes to the brim with items we convince ourselves were essential at the time. Perhaps these possessions brought a fleeting sense of security, or maybe they were symbols of our success, a way to show the world and ourselves that we had made it. But over time, it becomes clear the things we once believed we owned are now the very things that own us. Think about it. When was the last time you felt deeply, truly joyful? I bet that moment wasn't centered around something you bought or owned. Instead, it was likely a shared moment of laughter with family, the warm embrace of a friend, a quiet evening spent reflecting on your life, or the deep satisfaction that comes from overcoming a personal challenge. These are the moments that stay with us, the ones that make our hearts swell with happiness. Material things, on the other hand, may give us temporary pleasure, but they don't fill our souls in a way that experiences, relationships, and growth do. As we reach our 70s and beyond, it's time to take a hard look at our relationship with material possessions. Do we need all these things? Our closets, our garages, and our homes are often filled with stuff we haven't touched in years, things we hold on out of habit rather than necessity. Sure, some of these items carry memories with them, an old sweater from a special day or a piece of furniture passed down through generations. But here's the truth. We can honor those memories without being buried beneath the physical clutter. The memories live inside us, not in the objects. Imagine, for a moment, what it would feel like to let go of some of this weight. Walk through your home and look around. How many things have you been holding on to just because it's easier to keep them than to let them go? What would happen if you chose to release just one of those items? Maybe that sweater you haven't worn in years, or the pile of books you've been meaning to read but haven't touched. The very act of letting go, of creating space, can be so liberating. Decluttering isn't just about making room in your physical environment. It's about creating space in your mind and heart as well. Every item we hold on to carries with it a little bit of mental and emotional energy. The more we clear out, the more room we make for new experiences, new joys, and new moments of peace. Picture how light and free you would feel if your home was a reflection of who you are today, not a museum of who you once were. Imagine walking into a room and being greeted by space, by possibility, by a sense of openness and calm. The older we get, the more we realize that life is about quality, not quantity. It's not about how much we own, but about how much we love, how much we live, and how much we truly experience. Letting go of material possessions is a way to simplify our lives, to strip away the unnecessary, so that we can focus on what matters. It's not always easy, and it may take time, but the lightness that comes from living with intention, with fewer things and more meaning, is worth every effort. So, I encourage you to start small. Choose one item, just one, and let it go. See how it feels. I promise you, the more you release, the more freedom you'll find. Your home will become a place of peace, a space where the past doesn't weigh you down, and the future feels full of possibility. The burden of material possessions is heavy, but the joy that comes from letting go is profound. Let's embrace this journey together and share how Simplify has brought more peace into our lives. 3. Saying no to unnecessary social obligations. How many times have you found yourself trapped in a social gathering, a forced smile on your face, nodding politely, all while your heart yearns for the comfort and solitude of your own home? How often have you attended an event out of sense of duty, knowing deep down that your soul craved peace, quiet, and time for yourself? For so much of our lives, we feel compelled to say yes to every invitation, to maintain relationships that may no longer serve us, and to keep up appearances for the sake of politeness or obligation. It's as if we are bound by invisible chains, pulling us to places we don't want to be. But as we grow older, as we approach or surpass 70, something beautiful happens. We gain the clarity and confidence to finally prioritize our own needs and desires without guilt. We begin to understand, in a way that perhaps only comes with age, that life is too precious to waste on obligations that drain our energy and bring little joy. We realize that every minute of our time is valuable, and we have the right to choose how and with whom we spend it. Have you ever said yes to a social event out of sheer obligation, only to come home feeling utterly exhausted, unfulfilled, and wishing you had stayed in the comfort of your sanctuary? It's an all too familiar feeling, isn't it? But here's the empowering truth. It's perfectly okay to say no. Learning to say no to unnecessary social obligations might be one of the most liberating decisions you'll ever make. Imagine the freedom that comes with declining an invitation without guilt, knowing you are honoring your own needs. What if, instead of automatically saying yes, you permitted yourself to decline events that don't resonate with your true desires? What if you started listening to that quiet voice inside of you, the one that craves a peaceful evening with a good book or a walk in nature, instead of forced small talk in a crowded room? The truth is, life becomes so much lighter and so much more joyful when we reserve our energy for things and people that truly matter to us. Now, this isn't about isolating yourself or withdrawing from the world completely. It's not about avoiding social interactions altogether. Rather, it's about being selective and intentional about how you spend your time. It's about making sure that the moments you invest in nourish your soul, not deplete it. When we take the time to prioritize our well-being, we show up more fully in the interactions that truly matter. Our presence becomes more meaningful because we're there out of genuine desire, not out of obligation. Saying no doesn't mean you're shutting the world out. It means you're making space for the things that truly bring you joy, fulfillment, and connection. By releasing the need to be everywhere for everyone, you create room for deeper, more meaningful relationships and experiences. You give yourself the gift of presence, whether it's in the company of loved ones who uplift you or in the quiet stillness of your own company, which can be just as valuable. So, I encourage you to reflect. Are there social obligations in your life that no longer serve you? Is there a gathering or relationship that drains your energy rather than lifts you? What would happen if you permitted yourself to step back, to say no without guilt or hesitation? By doing so, you open the door to a life filled with more peace, more joy, and more freedom. Remember, it's not selfish to protect your energy. It's essential. By saying no to the things that don't align with your heart, you're saying yes to yourself. You're saying yes to a life lived on your terms, filled with the moments and connections that truly matter. Share your stories in the comments below. How has learning to say no transformed your life? For embracing authentic beauty. For most of our lives, society relentlessly bombards us with messages about beauty, how it should look, how we should maintain it, and why we must endlessly pursue youthfulness. From magazines to television to the ever-present world of social media, we're constantly reminded that beauty is supposedly synonymous with flawless skin, toned bodies, and youthful features. It's a standard that feels impossible to achieve. And as we age, the pressure mounts. Society whispers that we should fight the natural signs of aging, that we should conceal our wrinkles, hide our gray hairs, and cling desperately to an illusion of perfection that was never truly attainable to begin with. But what if we dared to reject that narrative? What if, instead of fighting the natural process of aging, we chose to embrace it? What if we looked at the lines on our faces and the gray in our hair, not as imperfections to be hidden, but as symbols of the rich lives we've lived? Every wrinkle tells a story, doesn't it? Each laugh line represents a moment of joy. Each crease around our eyes speaks of the challenges we've overcome. Those gray hairs are not something to be covered up. They are a badge of wisdom, a testament to the knowledge we've gathered along our journey. The truth is that authentic beauty has nothing to do with conforming to society's narrow and superficial standards. It's about embracing who we are in all our uniqueness at every stage of life. Real beauty is not about perfection. It's about the depth of our character, the kindness we show to others, and the confidence we carry within ourselves. It's about allowing ourselves to be fully seen, wrinkles and all, without shame or apology. Take a moment and think about the people in your life whom you find truly beautiful. Is it their physical appearance that draws you to them? Or is it something deeper, something far more enduring? Chances are their beauty has little to do with smooth skin or youthful features. Instead, it's the way they radiate kindness, the way they move through the world with authenticity and grace. It's the wisdom in their eyes, the warmth of their smile, and the love they offer so freely. That's real beauty, beauty that cannot be captured by a mirror or measured by society's standards. As we grow older, we are given an incredible opportunity to embody this kind of beauty, a beauty that comes from within. We no longer need to chase external validation because we begin to understand that beauty isn't something you achieve, it's something you live. It's the way you care for yourself and others, the strength you show in the face of adversity, and the courage it takes to embrace every part of yourself, including the parts that society might tell you to hide. Imagine how freeing it will be to fully embrace the skin you're in, to see every mark of aging not as a flaw, but as a celebration of your life's journey. What if you looked in the mirror and, instead of focusing on what society deems imperfect, you saw the undeniable beauty of a person who has lived, loved, and experienced so much? Letting go of society's standards doesn't mean we stop caring about how we look or how we feel. It means we stop letting those standards dictate our worth. We get to define beauty for ourselves, on our terms, and that is one of the greatest gifts that aging can bring. So I ask you, what would happen if you redefined beauty for yourself? How would your life change if you chose to see the marks of aging as a source of pride rather than something to be ashamed of? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your story might inspire someone else to embrace their authentic beauty and live with greater confidence and freedom. Authentic beauty is timeless. It's not about resisting change, but about honoring the incredible journey that has brought us to where we are today. Let's celebrate the beauty that comes from within and radiates outward, lighting up every room we walk into, not because of how we look, but because of who we are. 5. Reevaluating activities that no longer bring joy. Life is a collection of routines, some of which enrich our lives with joy and purpose, while others start to feel like a heavy burden we carry out of habit. Over the years, we often fall into patterns, things we do simply because we've always done them, without ever stopping to question if they still bring us the happiness they once did. But as we age, especially after reaching 70, we gain the wisdom and the freedom to reassess how we spend our precious time. Are there activities or hobbies that once filled your heart with excitement but now feel empty or tiresome? Are there traditions you've upheld for years that no longer align with who you are today? One of the most liberating aspects of growing older is the ability to let go of things that no longer serve us. It's not about dismissing or devaluing the experiences that shaped us, but rather recognizing that we have the right to evolve. Our passions and interests may shift over time, and that's okay. It's beautiful. The person you were at 30, 50, or even 60 is not the same person you are now, and your activity should reflect that growth. Take a moment to reflect on your daily routines. How much of your time is spent doing things out of obligation, things that feel more like chores than sources of joy? Are there tasks or commitments that you continue to uphold simply because you've always done them? What would happen if you permitted yourself to let go of just one of those activities? Imagine the lightness you might feel by freeing yourself from something that no longer brings happiness. Perhaps it's a hobby you once loved but no longer feel a connection to. Maybe it's a social group or a long-standing tradition that now feels more like an obligation than a joy. It could be something as small as a weekly activity you've outgrown, or something larger, like a life routine that no longer fits your current desires. This stage of life allows you to let go of these things, to release unnecessary weight and make space for new adventures, new passions, and new ways to find fulfillment. Life is not meant to be a checklist of tasks that we feel compelled to complete, but a journey filled with moments that enrich our souls. By reevaluating how we spend our time, we open ourselves up to discover what truly brings us joy. It might be a newfound passion, something you never even thought to explore when you were younger. It could be an entirely new social circle or a creative pursuit you never had time for. The beauty of this stage of life is that there are no rules and no expectations. You get to choose what lights you up. It's easy to cling to routines out of familiarity. But what if we embrace the unknown? What if we welcome the idea that our interests, like us, are meant to grow and change? You might just surprise yourself with how much joy can come from trying something new or letting go of something that no longer sparks happiness. So take this as an invitation to reflect. Are there activities in your life that feel more like obligations than joys? Are there routines you've outgrown but continue out of habit? This is your time to decide how you want to spend your days. By permitting yourself to release what no longer serves you, you create space for new experiences that will bring excitement and fulfillment. Life after 70 is not about winding down. It's about rediscovering what makes you feel alive. It's about filling your days with the things that truly matter to you, whether that means reigniting an old passion, exploring a new interest, or simply enjoying the peace of unstructured time. Let's start a conversation about how reevaluating activities has brought more joy into your life. What have you let go of, and what new joys have you discovered? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your story might just inspire someone else to embrace the freedom of living authentically. 6. Cutting ties with toxic relationships. Relationships are at the very core of what makes life meaningful. The right connections have the power to lift us, bring us happiness, and provide that deep sense of belonging we all crave. But not all relationships are created equal, and not every connection is a source of joy. Sometimes we find ourselves holding on to relationships that no longer serve us, connections that don't nourish our hearts, but instead drain our energy and fill our lives with unnecessary stress. Whether it's a friend who always brings negativity, a family member who constantly criticizes, or an acquaintance whose presence leaves you feeling small and depleted, these toxic relationships can weigh heavily on your spirit. As we reach our later years, particularly after 70, it becomes more important than ever to reassess the relationships we allow into our lives. We've lived long enough to understand the impact others can have on our emotional well-being. It's time to ask ourselves, are there people who consistently bring joy, love, and support into our lives? Who makes us feel cherished and valued for who we truly are? And equally important, who makes us feel drained, diminished, or unappreciated? Walking away from toxic relationships isn't an act of selfishness. It's an act of profound self-care. It's about recognizing that we deserve peace, joy, and positivity in our lives, especially as we get older. We deserve relationships that lift us, not tear us down. And let's be honest, time is too precious to waste on people who make us feel anything less than whole. How many times have you kept a relationship alive out of habit or because of guilt, even though deep down you knew it was unhealthy? How many times have you left a conversation feeling emotionally exhausted, wondering why you still subject yourself to the negativity or criticism of that person? Letting go of these toxic relationships is difficult. There's no denying that. But in doing so, we create space for healthier, more fulfilling connections to enter our lives. Imagine what your life could be like if you surrounded yourself only with people who truly care for you, who celebrate your victories, support your growth, and stand by you in your times of need. Reaching this stage of life is a gift. It's a time to prioritize what matters most. And one of the most important things you can do for your mental, emotional, and even physical health is to cut ties with people who no longer bring light into your life. That critical family member who always seems to find fault in you, let them go. The friend who constantly complains and brings negativity into every interaction, it's okay to distance yourself. You are not obligated to maintain relationships that cause you pain or stress, no matter who that person is. Cutting ties with toxic people isn't about anger or resentment. It's about reclaiming your peace. It's about choosing your well-being over the discomfort of confrontation. It's about saying, I deserve to be happy and I deserve to be surrounded by love. You'll be amazed at how much lighter you feel when you release these burdensome relationships. By letting go of toxicity, we open ourselves up to the possibility of healthier, more enriching relationships. The people who see you for who you are, who celebrate your uniqueness, and who want to grow alongside you. You deserve that kind of connection. We all do. As difficult as it may be to walk away, the peace you gain from making room for positive, nurturing relationships is worth it. So, take a moment to reflect on the relationships in your life. Who lifts you and who drags you down? Who celebrates your joy and success and who makes you feel small? It's time to let go of those who no longer bring you happiness. Share your experiences in the comments below. Your story might just inspire someone else to take that brave step toward emotional freedom. You deserve to be surrounded by love, joy, and positivity, especially at this stage of life. By letting go of what no longer serves you, you're choosing yourself, your peace, and your happiness. And that's the greatest act of self-care there is. 7. Letting go of comparisons. Comparison is often called a thief of joy, and it couldn't be more true. Throughout our lives, we're constantly tempted to measure ourselves against others, to stack our achievements, happiness, and self-worth alongside the lives of those around us. We compare everything: a friend's financial success, a neighbor's seemingly perfect family, a sibling's long list of accomplishments. And in doing so, we fall into the trap of thinking that someone else's life is better, more successful, or more fulfilling than our own. But as we age, especially as we move beyond 70, we gain a deeper understanding of an essential truth. Everyone's journey is different. Comparing our path to someone else's doesn't bring clarity. It only steals the joy we deserve in our own lives. By this point in life, we've experienced enough to know that success doesn't have a single definition. What makes one person feel fulfilled may not bring the same satisfaction to another. Financial wealth, professional titles, or societal status may look impressive from the outside, but they don't necessarily equate to a happy, meaningful life. Happiness cannot be measured by someone else's standards, nor can our worth be validated through comparison. The truth is, your life is uniquely yours, and your journey is unlike anyone else's. That's something to be celebrated, not compared. Think about how often you looked at someone else's life and felt inadequate in some way. Maybe you've seen a friend travel the world and wondered why you didn't have the same opportunities. Perhaps you watched a neighbor's family grow and felt a twinge of envy, questioning why your relationships didn't look the same. It's easy to fall into that trap. Society practically encourages it. But what if, instead of focusing on what others have, you focus on all the beauty and richness that already exists in your own life? How much more peace would you feel? As we age, one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves is the freedom from comparison. We've lived long enough to know that joy is found in appreciating our unique path, not in coveting someone else's. Your wrinkles, your gray hairs, your stories, and your triumphs, they are yours alone. No one else can experience the world as you have, and no one else can feel the deep fulfillment that comes from living your truth. When we let go of comparing ourselves to others, we make space for gratitude, self-compassion, and a deeper connection to our true selves. Imagine the relief that comes from no longer measuring your worth by someone else's life. Imagine how liberating it would be to truly believe that your success, your happiness, and your worth are entirely your own to define. By letting go of the need to compare, you reclaim your joy. You get to appreciate the richness of your life, the small victories, the moments of quiet contentment, and the growth you've experienced over the years. It's important to remember that we never see the full picture of someone else's life. The success or happiness we perceive from the outside often hides struggles we can't see. Every person faces challenges, heartbreak, and moments of doubt. So, while you may feel tempted to compare yourself to the highlight reels of others, know that you are only seeing part of the story. And your story, complete with its ups and downs, triumph and struggles, is just as valuable and meaningful. Letting go of comparisons allows us to fully embrace who we are without the weight of external validation. We learn to celebrate our accomplishments, no matter how big or small. We begin to see that our happiness comes from within, from living in alignment with our values and passions, rather than chasing after someone else's version of success. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your story may inspire others to break free from the chains of comparison. Your journey is uniquely your own, and that is something truly beautiful. Stop measuring your worth by someone else's yardstick and start embracing the joy and fulfillment that already exists within you. Letting go of comparisons isn't just freeing. It's a pathway to genuine, lasting happiness. 8. Redefining goals. What truly matters now. As we navigate the earlier chapters of our lives, many of the goals we set are shaped by societal expectations or the dreams we once held close. We aim for career success, financial stability, or reaching certain milestones that we believe will bring us happiness and fulfillment. But as time goes on and we grow older, particularly after 70, we start to realize that some of those goals no longer resonate with who we are or what we truly want from life. The dreams that once drove us may now feel distant, even irrelevant, as our priorities begin to shift. And that's perfectly okay. Perhaps there was a time when you aspired to build a successful career, accumulate wealth, or achieve a certain level of recognition. You may have even accomplished many of these goals. But do they still hold the same meaning for you today? As we reach this stage in life, it's time to ask ourselves, what truly matters now? What brings you a sense of fulfillment, joy, and peace? This is a perfect moment to redefine what success means to you, based on your values and desires as they are now, not what they once were. Letting go of old goals doesn't mean you're giving up or abandoning your dreams. It means you're evolving, allowing yourself the freedom to shift your focus to what matters most in this chapter of life. Maybe building a career once felt like your top priority, but now you find more meaning in spending time with family, pursuing passions you never had time for, or simply enjoying the peace that comes with living more mindfully. As we grow older, we come to understand that true success isn't about status or wealth. It's about feeling fulfilled in the life we're living. It's about nurturing relationships, finding joy in simple moments, and being at peace with who we are. For many, this might mean spending more time with loved ones and creating memories that will last far beyond any professional accolade. For others, it might mean diving into a passion that was once pushed aside by the demands of life. Maybe you've always wanted to learn a new skill, pursue a creative endeavor, or travel to places that inspire you. Now is the time to do those things without the weight of expectations. This stage of life is about living authentically, honoring your own values and desires, rather than clinging to old definitions of success that no longer serve you. It's about allowing yourself to shift focus, to let go of goals that feel like burdens rather than aspirations. It's okay to change your mind, to say, that no longer matters to me, and to move forward with a renewed sense of purpose. Think about how your life could change if you allowed yourself to redefine what success looks like. What would your days look like if you let go of the pressure to meet outdated goals and focus on what brings you peace, joy, and contentment today? Would you spend more time in nature with the people you love, or simply enjoying the beauty of the present moment? The truth is, the goals that matter are the ones that align with who you are now, not who you once were. In redefining your goals, you're not only permitting yourself to let go of what no longer matters, you're also creating space for new opportunities and experiences that align with your true self. This process is deeply personal, and there is no one-size-fits-all formula for what it looks like. Your journey is your own, and success can mean something entirely different for you than it does for anyone else. So, take a moment to reflect. What truly matters to you now? What goals, passions, or dreams feel most aligned with your current values and desires? Share your thoughts in the comment below, and let's celebrate this beautiful process of redefining success in a way that brings more meaning, joy, and peace to our lives. Remember, it's never too late to redefine your path. At 70 and beyond, life is still full of possibilities, and the power to choose what fulfills you is entirely in your hands. Embrace the freedom to let go of what no longer serves you and focus on what brings you the deepest sense of happiness and purpose. That is true success. 9. Prioritizing your happiness without guilt. One of life's greatest challenges is learning to prioritize our happiness without feeling the weight of guilt on our shoulders. For so many of us, the habit of putting others first is deeply ingrained. Whether it's taking care of our family, meeting the expectations of friends, or fulfilling the obligations of work, we give and give, often without thinking about what we're sacrificing in the process. We've been taught that selflessness is a virtue and that making others happy is more important than tending to our own needs. But as we grow older, we begin to see the truth. You cannot pour from an empty cup. If you spend all your energy on others without caring for yourself, you'll find there's nothing left to give. Have you ever found yourself feeling guilty for taking time for yourself? For saying no to something that drains you? Or for choosing rest over obligation? These feelings are all too common. But it's important to realize that self-care is not selfish. It's an act of love for yourself and those around you. When you prioritize your happiness, you become a better version of yourself. A person who is more present, more energized, and more capable of offering genuine support to others. Imagine what your life could look like if you stopped feeling guilty for putting yourself first. What if, instead of seeing self-care as an indulgence, you embrace it as a necessity? What if you allowed yourself to pursue the things that bring you joy, peace, and fulfillment, without the constant worry that you're letting someone else down? The truth is, when you take care of yourself, you're not just benefiting yourself, you're benefiting everyone around you. Your happiness is a gift to those who love you, embracing the freedom to live lightly. When we release these burdens, we create space for what truly matters. We can focus on the relationships that uplift us, on experiences that bring fulfillment, and on the simple pleasures that make life meaningful. This is your moment, a time to prioritize your happiness, to live lightly, and find joy in the things that matter most. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's celebrate the freedom that comes with choosing joy and living with intention. Remember, you deserve happiness just as much as anyone else, and this stage of life is the perfect time to embrace that truth. We'd love to hear from you. Please comment below with one thing you've learned and how you plan to apply it in your daily life. If you like this video, please leave your comment below. Thank you for joining us on this journey.